Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video that's a little bit more inclusive for my ladies. Fellas, feel free to watch, but these are some tips that I have kind of picked up along the way, and I just thought it would be nice to share with all of my lady viewers. So maybe a couple of you ladies can comment down below if you relate to any of them, but I just want to put my ladies on. We're just going to get right into it, and I don't want to bore you all too much with my talking, but yes, as you can see by the title, these are a couple of tips that I have in mind on how to get fellas to respect you as the queens that you truly are, as the queens that you deserve to be treated as. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So in today's video, I have my notes on my laptop, so if you all tend
to see, wow, I can get my words
just slow it down. There you go. If you all tend to see me looking down, that's because I'm looking at my notes on my laptop. So okay, so we're just gonna hop right into it, and the first thing that I want to talk about is have substance. Okay, ladies? Now, throughout this video, I do not want you all to think that I have it all together. I do not want you all to think that, you know what I'm saying, I just have the holy grail, or, you know what I'm saying. These are tips. Please keep that in mind. These are tips that I've kind of learned. I feel like they've kind of worked for me in a way, and it's just something that I want to pass along. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are my, you know what I'm saying, y'all my ladies out there. You know what I'm saying? So these are tips. These are not things that I feel like I'm preaching to you all. This is just suggestions, okay? Do what you've been doing, sis. You know what I'm saying? Be the queen that you are. These just my tips. That's it, that's all. Okay, so when I say have substance, so by substance, I mean have things that are a part of your life that make the men who try to approach you or come around you see that you have a lot going on for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Boss up and level up to that next level of whatever you want to be, whatever your dreams, your goals, your aspirations are. Do them. Don't just talk about it, okay? So be about what you speak about, and have something that way when he comes into your life, he can see that you're not a type of person. He can see that you're not the type of lady who just wants to mooch off of him, or, you know what I'm saying, mooch off people in general. You know, he can see that you have a lot going for yourself and that you don't want to jeopardize that. And so he can really respect you more because you're all about your hustle. You're all about making things shake for yourself, because you're not just going to wait on anybody else to hand you anything. You know what I'm saying? You already have your job going. You already have your schooling going. You already have your businesses going. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that is going, you already have that to focus on before he comes in your life. Or, you know, he sees, you know, that you have quality friendships, you have quality people that you hang around, and you just have a substance of quality, period. You're already setting the tone when he first meets you or asks for your number or whatever it is. He can see that you have a lot to offer and that you bring to the table. You've already been working on your credit score, all that, sis, you know what I'm saying? Nails done, hair done, everything, you know what I'm saying? You've already had the substance within yourself that he can kind of radiate and feel that energy. He can feel those vibes. He can see what it is you have going for yourself, because at the end of the day, we're not attracting men with no substance. You know what I'm saying? I would like to think a lot of us queens, we want men who are bringing something to the table. So sis, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. What are you bringing to the table? You can't say you want a man with substance. You want a man that does X, Y, and Z, and you're not even doing A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to already have some substance there, because trust me, the same way that we're wanting our king to come and sweep us off our feet is the same way that he's looking at his queen already running her kingdom. Hey, period. Okay. Número dos. Set boundaries / standards. This is one of the things that I think is probably one of the most important tips that I want to give you throughout this video. Setting those boundaries and those standards and actually keeping and sticking to what you say is key to getting a man to respect you, okay? Not even just men in general, men and women to respect you. When you say what your boundaries are up front in the beginning, and you set the tone and you set your standards, he can see this is not a woman that I need to play with. This is not somebody who I need to just waste time and feed lies to. If he sees that you let up on any of those boundaries, or if you let up on any of those standards, he's going to keep pushing the envelope and see how far he can go. At the end of the day, we are ladies, sis. So for the most part, men are running the show. They're running the ship as to how they want to court you, how they want to treat you, what type of level they see you as. But you take back your power. You have your power whenever you set the boundaries and you set the standards up front, and you let him know, this is what I expect, this is what I want, and I'm not letting letting up on any of those things. The moment you continually let him disrespect your boundaries, disrespect the standards that you have, or he doesn't even rise to the occasion, he doesn't even rise to your standards, and you let him get away with it, he's seeing how much, and he's pushing that envelope and see how far you'll let him get away with. And once he sees that you let him get away with any of those things, he's going to keep trying to try you until you wisen up and just see that this is not what you want. This is not the type of man that God has for you. And so at the end of the day, setting your boundaries and setting the standard and the tone up front and letting him know what it is and what it ain't is going to be key. Okay, it's going to be key. So yeah, that is definitely something that I think is very helpful. And most, men who are there to just shoot it straight and they're not to waste your time, they respect that, and they obviously recognize, okay, this is a woman of integrity. She keeps to her word, she sticks to her boundaries, she is not letting me get away with the smallest of nothing. From my personal experience, I can say that men have respected it thus far. So okay, so this also, what I said in previous tip 2 also kind of segues me to tip number 3, which is stick to your word. I'm going to kind of read a little bit off of my laptop just because I get a little mixed up when I'm talking, so I want to make sure that this is kind of like coming out effectively. So when I say stick to your word, if he crosses that line, move accordingly. There is no, maybe I can just give him another chance for this and third. Now don't get me wrong, second chances are great if they're willing to listen to what you have to say and improve on that. And people make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. He's not perfect. So I definitely am a woman who believes in second chances. But there's just some things that if you, like in tip number 2, have already set the boundary or set the standard for, such as you don't want any cheating in your relationship, you don't want any abusive activities going on in your relationship, you don't want any lies going on in your relationship. Those are just different boundaries and different standards that you've already set. And if they cross those lines on certain things like that, I don't like to say that those are mistakes that you can just come back from.
I was trying to convey that we need to redefine, when we're setting our boundaries and our standards, what a mistake is to us. So certain things shouldn't be crossed that are our boundaries. All things aren't just mistakes, is what I was trying to say.
Me personally, I just feel like once you've disrespected that, I have to move accordingly because you didn't respect me enough to even take accountability. Like, personally, for me, cheating to me is not a mistake. I feel like it's intentional. I feel like it's not just something you could just slip up upon. Even when you're drunk, like, it's like you have enough awareness, or you should. Like, if you're getting that drunk and, you go and cheat on somebody, it's just like you have a lot of things going on anyways, what I'm saying? And I don't need to be a part of this, what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm too much to be a part of your plate and what you got going on. So, that's that. But for me, I feel like cheating is intentional just because you know how many steps it takes to cheat? I mean, you gotta lie. First of all, you gotta meet the person that you're gonna cheat with. You gotta lie to the person that you're gonna cheat with. You gotta lie to the person that you're in a relationship with. You gotta sneak. Then after you sneak, you gotta find a location. And after you find a location, you gotta make sure you don't get caught. And after you find a location where you don't get caught in, you gotta pull down your pants. You gotta get kind of, you gotta do, like, it's just a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm probably leaving out a whole bunch of steps. But you're trying to tell me out of all these steps and all these things that I mentioned, you not once did not think to regard me in a way where it's like, nah, I should not be doing this. I should not be cheating on my significant other. No, you kept going. You took it there. Once you cheat, I have to move accordingly and leave. Because I feel like a woman who doesn't stick to her word, men pay attention to that, sis. They pay attention. If you don't stick to your word, mean what you say, and do what you said that you're going to do, such as I have to leave if you disrespect me in this way, or if you do X, Y, and Z. If you don't stick to your word, he sees that your word mean nothing to him. He's like, oh, okay, she, what I'm saying? He don't take you seriously. From my experience, once again, this is not the Holy Grail. Just don't feel like men can take women seriously who do not stick to their word. There's, what I'm saying, they play games, and at the end of the day, you're not a pop quiz, sis. You are a queen. He don't need to be wasting your time in that manner. So you need to stick to your word and move accordingly. It is easier said than done to actually enforce and stick to your word, but trust me, queen, it's necessary. It's very necessary, because I'm trying to tell you, the men who are not good for you, the men who are wanting to waste your time and doesn't take you seriously, will keep trying you every chance you get if you do not stick to that word. And eventually, your word becomes nothing.
I believe if you keep cheating on me, then you know what I'm saying, you're gonna lose out on me, or da-da-da.
They don't hear anything you say after the first couple of times you already didn't stick to your word about whatever it is that you said you were going to do. So why now, after the third time he's cheated, you think he's going to get it right? Think that he's going to take you seriously? And kudos, there is some women that after so many times, they eventually go ahead and leave. And like I said, it is easier said than done. But I'm telling you, queens, I'm telling you, ladies, from compassion and love and honestly wanting us all just to do better, men and women, you have to stick to your word. It's very important and it's very necessary. Tip number 4. This is going to be something I feel like if, my fellas is watching, they actually can, cheer this on. But I feel like, ladies, honestly, we have to learn how to communicate effectively.
Think, well, I shouldn't have to tell him. He should just already know. He should just already know how to treat me. It shouldn't even have to be said. If I gotta tell him, then what am I with him for?
Listen, sis, I know, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Trust me, I feel you on that. But men are different from us. They just are. They just are, sis. And unless you are the type of woman who never wants to be in a relationship with a man, or, you're whatever, communicating effectively with men is very important. They can't always read our minds. They can't always know exactly what it is that's wrong with us. So if we haven't told them what it is or what it ain't, or we haven't communicated them in the way that sometimes they need to, hear what it is that's on our mind, our hearts, or what it is that they offended us, if we haven't communicated that with them, we can't just expect to get mad at them or expect for them to know. We have to be willing to communicate with them, tell them what's wrong, even the small minor things, because those small minor things keeps piling up, and eventually, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. So we have to be willing to communicate with them every step of the way, especially if we care about this man and we see that this is a man potentially, that God sent for us. We have to be willing to communicate better and effectively. We're not going to be perfect in that sense, but just willing to put the effort to communicate effectively and more with your significant other is going to be a way where men can respect, what it is that you say, because they're knowing from gay, like, this is a woman who wants to speak about every little thing that affects her. And if they don't take it seriously after whatever it is that you said to them, once again, back to tip number 3, stick to your word and move accordingly, period. Segue into communicate effectively. I hope I don't get a lot of flack for this, but I feel like it just needs to be said. Sometimes, queen, we have to know our place, listen to him, and shut up. Okay, like, shut up. Like, it's okay to let him get a word in edgewise. We don't always have to be the loudest woman in the room for him to hear us. And if he is wrong, still let him communicate effectively, because it's not about being right. It's about being about, if you truly love, whoever it is that you're with, or you're dating him, or, this is somebody that you potentially care about, do you always want to be right, or do you just want to make sure that both of you guys are coming to that 50-50 middle ground in whatever relationship, friendship, whatever, and you both are leaving happy at the end of the day? For me personally, I'm a woman where I don't feel like every single time I have to be right. I just care about whatever the issue is. Let's just kind of get through it so that we can go ahead to being back to our happy whatever else that we were before. Like, it's just, sometimes it's just gonna be where, if not more times than other, they are going to be wrong, but still let them communicate and get their point across. Still let them speak, because if you don't let them feel like they have a voice or a reason to speak, or they just always shut down, or they feel like they can't get a word in edgewise, a lot of times men, which I hate to say, they go to the latter, and they go to a woman who does want to hear what they have to say, or that's when cheating is like, tempting in their mind. Not that it makes it right. It doesn't make it right that they're, not communicating with you, like, oh, I don't feel like I have a voice in this relationship, or you don't let me talk enough. They should open themselves up and communicate with you in that sense. It doesn't make it right that they cheat or whatever. But I can say we do need to do a better job, ladies, of checking ourselves and just letting our men speak. Period, point blank. Just let them speak, let them have a voice. Even if they're wrong, let them talk. And then, just kind of set the tone in that type of way. I know we feel like sometimes, because we are such passionate creatures as women, that we feel like yelling is a way for them to hear us better. I just feel like in this season of my life, I don't always need to yell to get my point across. And personally, I'm tired of yelling at men. I'm tired of yelling in general friends, whoever, to get my point across. If you haven't heard me the first time and you hadn't heard me in a calm tone where I don't have to get out of character, then you're just not gonna hear me. Period. You're not gonna take me down through there.
You're not gonna take me down through. It ain't happening. Period.
To all my queens out there, I feel like y'all would agree with me. We have to be accountable, ladies, okay? We have to be accountable. I feel like, you know, men respect us more when we can be accountable of whatever it is that we've done wrong in the relationship as well. You know, if it is one thing, it's easier for us to point at the men and say, well, you have to check yourself on this and be accountable and apologize when you did a woman wrong, because it does seem like in the world, you know, it's the more popular opinion that men do women wrong. You know, that's been the narrative for I don't know how many years. But let's not shy away from the fact that women, just as much as men lie, women cheat as well. You know, women do wrongdoings to men as well. And, you know, we just have to be accountable and be okay with men checking us when we're in the wrong. Don't be afraid to say sorry. Don't be afraid to check yourself and say, okay, I need to work on that in this area, in this aspect. You know, I mean, look, like I said, do what you do, sis. You know what I'm saying? This is just my tip. This is just my helpful opinion. But I feel like men will respect us more because of it. I just feel like it's something, if anything, that we'll respect ourselves more, you know, because we're holding ourselves accountable. So we want to have that same tone be led throughout the relationship. We want other people to be accountable and apologize when they're wrong, or apologize when they've offended us or whatever. We have to be willing to do the same thing. And it's okay, because we're not perfect. We're human beings. And life just happens. You know, we're just going to be in the wrong sometimes. That's just how it goes. But it's okay to put that pride to the side and apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. So
Another thing about being accountable is that when we do apologize when we're wrong or whatever, let's try not to also point out something from last year that he did. I know a lot of times we feel like, okay, well, I'm going to point out what you did since you feel like I'm wrong in this situation. Just be accountable for whatever it is that you've done wrong and apologize. Because at the end of the day, if you had communicated the issue last year with him effectively, you wouldn't have a real reason to point out what he did last year as into retaliation of why you're wrong now. Now, let me make this clear. Let me make this Claritin crystal clear, okay? Claritin crystal clear. All these tips that I've been giving you, queens, all of these tips, okay, should not be applied to males, but they should only be applied to men, okay? I'm gonna say it one more time. You know what I'm saying? There's no real reason to apply any of these tips that I'm telling you today if you're dealing with someone who is a male and not a man, okay? Males, plenty of them walking around here, you know what I'm saying? Lying, cheating, being abusive, not letting you get one word in edgewise, just respecting you, wasting your time, okay? Wasting your time. We don't really care, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, us queens should not be caring about what males are doing. They have to still grow into their manhood, you know? Where these are, like I said in my title, 5 ways to get men to respect you, okay? Helpful tips for men to respect you, not males. There is a difference. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there, because sometimes, you know, we kind of get confused that there's plenty of males on the earth, but it's only a few who are actually men and have grown into their manhood, and these tips can be applied to. The men who hold themselves accountable, the men who don't lie, the men who don't cheat, the men who are not there to waste your time, straight shooters, okay? You know, males get it confused sometimes, think all these tips apply to them and that they just deserve respect in the dough, or they just deserved home-cooked meals when they come home from work, or they just deserve. You don't deserve nothing. You a male, okay? Men only, ladies, is what I'm talking about in this video. Ladies, your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. And if you truly care about him as well, you wouldn't want to waste his either, okay? So these tips really take effect better when you're dealing with someone who is a man and has grown into their manhood, who you feel deserves your respect, okay? Well, if all else fails after all of these tips, my last thing that I have to say, which is kind of like a bonus, is pray about it. Okay, pray about it. I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I am a Christian, And you know, I choose to pray about everything and every step that I take with anybody who I'm interested in. You know, at the end of the day, God is the ultimate lover, the ultimate man who wants to protect us and give us the best. And do you honestly think that a man who trash talks you, disrespects you, doesn't even notice you in the room, doesn't even give you his quality time, converse with you, cheats on you, lies to you, is God's best? It's not. It's not, sis. And at the end of the day, there is better out there. You have to open your eyes to it. You know, where did all the good men go? They're there. Sometimes you have to be the good woman to recognize that the good man is right in front of you. So at the end of the day, yeah, just pray about it. God will show you in his word. He'll show you in his spirit. God will show you other women that you can admire or look up to, or who are inspired by, who are classy women who respect themselves, and it just, you know, put something in you, that feeling to just want to work on yourself more. So at the end of the day, if any of these tips didn't help you, or you just didn't feel like you can connect with any of them, pray about it. Always, when you're dating, be a person who prays effectively, efficiently, and consistently, so that you won't be led astray and you won't have wasted time. You know, like at the end of the day, I just don't like wasted time. So I don't want to waste any more of you all's time, and those are some helpful tips that I had. If anybody can relate to those, drop them down in the comments below. I'm always here and available and ready to talk. Comment, like, subscribe always, and I will see you all in the next video.